Alright, Lunk. This one's for you.
Every 4 years, we hear the words Electoral College over and over again, but we never talk about what a ridiculous and, frankly, undemocratic system it really is.
Alright, let's get one thing out of the way right off the bat.
Something that you have to take into consideration is that the United States is a constitutional republic. We are not a democracy. You will not find the word democracy in any of our founding documents. It's not in the Declaration of Independence. It's not in the Constitution. It's not in the Bill of Rights. In fact, the only time the founders mention democracy is in a derogatory manner, very critical of democracy, and at which point they say that it not only leads to tyranny, but that it is self-destructive.
The Electoral College gives vastly more power to different voters depending on which state they live in.
Bigger states.
Nope, smaller states.
The Electoral College is still population-based. Big states have more influence over the election than the smaller ones do.
Yeah. And Kid and Play here is about to run the numbers for you.
If your state has less people, you have more power.
Not too many people live in Wyoming, but they have 3 electoral votes, or 1 for every 135,000 voters. California is packed with people, but they have 55 electoral votes, or 1 for every 411,000 voters. And that's totally out of proportion.
Because while the ratio of people might be 3 times the amount of Californians as there are for, what is he talking about, Iowans? 55 divided by 3 is 18.333 times the amount of Electoral College votes. More!
Swing states.
Oh, I love the swing states. They make election night so exciting, kind of like when my turtles move a little.
Well, exciting.
You're fucking your turtles, aren't you?
I think the fact that the entire election is determined by just a handful of states is really messed up.
Yeah, it's much better for the election to be decided by a handful of cities.
For one thing, it means presidential candidates can ignore almost the entire country.
Because the system encourages coalition building and national campaigning. In order to win, a candidate must have the support of many different types of voters from various parts of the country. Winning only the South or the Midwest is not good enough. You cannot win 270 electoral votes if only one part of the country is supporting you. Every state, and therefore every voter in every state, is important. No political party can ignore any state for too long without suffering the consequences.
Hello, America. I'm Adam Conover, and I'm running for president of Florida, Pennsylvania, and Ohio. And boy, do I love Florida oranges, Philadelphia cheesesteaks, and whatever you people like in Ohio. The rest of the country can go suck a big one.
Hello, America. My name is Andrew Thomas, and I'm running for president of Los Angeles, New York, and Chicago. The fuck are you talking about?
Anyway, swing states have so much power that in recent elections, up to 80% of all the votes cast in America had no impact on the outcome.
Huh?
Some states are red states and some states are blue states. That's the way America is.
Actually, most states are pretty purple.
Isn't the election really only about the so-called swing states? Actually, no. If nothing else, safe and swing states are constantly changing. California voted safely Republican as recently as 1988. Texas used to vote Democrat. Neither New Hampshire nor Virginia used to be swing states. Most people think that George W. Bush won the 2000 election because of Florida. Well, sort of. But he really won the election because he managed to flip one state which the Democrats thought was safe, West Virginia. Its 4 electoral votes turned out to be decisive.
See that? Even the small states can be decisive.
No political party can ignore any state for too long without suffering the consequences.
But in our winner-take-all system, anyone who wants to vote for their state's losing party might as well just stay home.
That's like saying anybody who wants to vote for who's gonna lose might as well stay home. Fucking moron.
Wait, who are all these people?
Oh, these are the electors. They're the people who actually vote for president.
I thought the Electoral College was just a name.
Oh, nope. When we vote, we're actually just picking our state's electors. Then those electors get together and cast their ballots for president.
Now see, what pisses me off about this little scene right here is yes, everything he's saying is true. But he's making it look like Republicans are the only ones that are doing this. That Republicans are the only ones that have electors. That Republicans are the only ones that are a part of this system.
But who are they?
Oh, mostly retired politicians and party flacks.
I'm the governor's rich cousin.
Again, we're trying to make it look like that isn't on both sides.
Okay, Mr. Smarty, that's just a technicality. They have to vote for who we choose.
Actually, in 24 states, they can vote for whoever they want.
Actually, we live in America and have freedom here, and they can vote for whoever the fuck they want in any state.
And that's happened over 80 times. In 2004, an elector in Minnesota cast his vote for someone named John Ewards,
Fucking idiot Democrats.
which was almost the name of John Kerry's running mate.
Did you mean John Edwards?
Yes. I may have a drinking problem.
Fucking drunk Democrats.
That actually happened?
That actually happened?
That actually happened.
So that guy's clearly an asshat, because everything he put in his fucking video is there to try and play on your emotions to make you think that you are in some way being fucked over by showing the imagery of all these Republican type things and saying, Democrats don't get any of this. No, that's not the way it works, buddy. Everything you just said works for both sides equally. But let's look at what somebody else had to say about it.
If trends continue, a higher and higher percentage of the country will live in urban areas. In another 8 or 16 years, this map will be even more extreme. The metro areas even denser, which, if you're in favor of the Electoral College, will seem like even more of a reason to keep it.
Honestly, I don't see how that is in any way a reason not to keep it.
Now, this is where we must discuss the idea that the Electoral College ensures the president is elected by the states. It doesn't. A candidate can win the Electoral College with just the 11 biggest states.
So it'd be much better if they were to win the election with 5 or 6 major cities.
If trends continue, a higher and higher percentage of the country will live in urban areas. In another 8 or 16 years, this map will be even more extreme. The metro areas even denser. This collection may seem unlikely, but as urbanization and the politics it creates continues, it becomes increasingly likely. The Electoral College doesn't ensure the president wins with a lot of states or even geographically diverse states.
Because the system encourages coalition building and national campaigning. In order to win, a candidate must have the support of many different types of voters from various parts of the country. Winning only the South or the Midwest is not good enough. You cannot win 270 electoral votes if only one part of the country is supporting you.
Now, should the president represent the people or should the president represent the states is a question without an answer.
There is no such thing as a question without an answer, and that question in specific already has one.
This is about preference in style of governance. One moves power up to the federal level and the other moves power down to the states. And given the vastness of the country and the difference in her geographies, it's reasonable to believe that states with greater power is the better, less divisive solution to the problem of governance.
He's confusing me as to what side he's on.
But the Electoral College does nothing to help that. It happens to be that recent wins have been geographically spread, but the Electoral College doesn't ensure that outcome.
I love how it happens to be that the elections have been won because they've been spread. But fucking...
In order to win, a candidate must have the support of many different types of voters from various parts of the country. Winning only the South or the Midwest is not good enough. You cannot win 270 electoral votes if only one part of the country is supporting you.
Get ready for probably the stupidest thing or point that anybody has made thus far.
Cram everyone into California, leaving one person in each state, and the Electoral College says California alone, she decides. No citizen voted for these electors to cast a vote on their behalf.
The presidential election happens in 2 phases. The first phase is purely democratic. We hold 51 popular elections every presidential election year, 1 in each state and 1 in D.C. On Election Day in 2012, you may have thought you were voting for Barack Obama or Mitt Romney, but you were really voting for a slate of presidential electors. In Rhode Island, for example, if you voted for Barack Obama, you voted for the state's 4 Democratic electors. If you voted for Mitt Romney, you were really voting for the state's 4 Republican electors. Part 2 of the election is held in December, and it is this December election among the state's 538 electors, not the November election, which officially determines the identity of the next president. But if winning were only about getting the most votes, a candidate might concentrate all of his efforts in the biggest cities or the biggest states. Why would that candidate care about what people in West Virginia or Iowa or Montana think? Every state, and therefore every voter in every state, is important.
And many of the electors are free to vote for whoever they want. Their election in December is the real election. The Electoral College was designed to be able to overwrite the will of the people or its own election process anytime enough of a small number of unknown, unelected.
On Election Day in 2012, you may have thought you were voting for Barack Obama or Mitt Romney, but you were really voting for a slate of presidential electors.
All right, so there's one thing that nobody on either of those videos decided to bring up. And I can understand exactly why people who are anti-Electoral College don't bring this up.
The Electoral College also makes it harder to steal elections. Votes must be stolen in the right state in order to change the outcome of the Electoral College. With so many swing states, this is hard to predict and hard to do. But without the Electoral College, any vote stolen in any precinct in the country could affect the national outcome.
All right, well, that's pretty much what I got. That one chick she's giving like a tutorial type of thing. She's teaching you exactly what the whole process actually is. So I'm gonna go ahead and let her have the last word on it. And I hope you like this video. If you did, please hit the like button and subscribe and leave comments in the comment section. I always love those. And until next time, have a good day, and bye-bye.
The founders had no intention of creating a pure majority-rule democracy. They knew from careful study of history what most have forgotten today or never learned. Pure democracies do not work. Democracy has been colorfully described as 2 wolves and a lamb voting on what's for dinner. In a pure democracy, bare majorities can easily tyrannize the rest of a country. It protects against the tyranny of the majority, encourages coalition building, and discourages voter fraud. Our founders were proud of it. We can be too.